bottles and, utensils and everything that's made out of corn products. I really like that. And I think it's a lot better because that way, if things do get thrown to the side and you never pick it up, at least it's decompostable, which is great. And I like that.
Let's see. Do you have any more facts, or are we moving on to the Chris Kelly recommendations?
Just a few more facts. I swear I'm almost done.
All right, no, it's fine. Keep going, man.
A cute little quote that I found, the director was, he says that when he talks about Bobby Thompson's age and saying about how, oh gosh. So whenever Seann William Scott had to say, he's talking about Kiss, and he's saying, yeah, and he's talking about his dick and how his dick is a gun. Of course, Bobby couldn't be on set for that. And he talks about movie magic. And, David says, making movies is a dream. Hollywood is a dream factory, and I am the dream master. And he thinks about it for a second. He goes, I really don't even know what I'm saying.
Oh, that made me so happy. Yeah, that was funny. I also like his little story about he actually took Ambien in a cab, him and a lady, and they started tripping.
Yeah, which I've never done that, but I can imagine that's probably what would happen.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. In the scene where Seann William Scott was nude, obviously no children were even on the set for that. But he said that in order for Seann William Scott to feel a little more comfortable, he said this as a joke. He said, he's like, I had the whole crew and myself being naked during the scene. And it was really distracting, especially for me, because my dong is so big.
Oh, man. Classic case of a guy laying on the ground.
Oh, gosh. Also, the critics, as we said, they were huge fans of this movie. They got the humor, which was even cooler. Peter, as we talked about, Roger Ebert, he gave this movie 3 stars. Peter Travers for Rolling Stone also gave this 3 stars. He said in his article saying that sometimes a shamelessly stupid, profoundly profane, R-rated comedy is just all you want out of life. Role models more than fills that bill.
Yeah, it does. It was interesting in Ebert's review, though. He mixed up the characters. So he said that it was Paul Rudd who was giving Augie the boob lecture.
Well, I think at that point in Roger Ebert's career, he was also, going through his thing.
Yeah, you're right. The first line is great, though. Like funny people saying funny things in funny situations.
Not to point out where we're cheering, you understand, but to point out where we're thinking, hey, I sort of like that.
Yeah,
that's what he said.
What a great line.
And Claudia Puig for USA Today said, Role Models is a rare mainstream buddy comedy that definitely blends the endearing and the vulgar and interperses raucous comedy humor with subtle wit, which is very fitting for this movie.
Well, I think that's right. I mean, there's heart, there's wit, and then there's also vulgarity.
There's a lot, and it's also very warm and endearing. Who thought you could fit all of these into one movie?
No, it doesn't. And then the song at the end, geez Louise, and the whispering eye.
Yeah, I love how they played Detroit Rock City, and I mean, yet another movie involving Kiss, which was awesome. I loved how they put this in the movie because the director said, "Hey, look, I was a kid in the 70s. I loved Kiss. It was hard to meet somebody who didn't like, and everybody likes Kiss."
Kiss Anthea. And all the producers love Kiss, too, in this movie. So they're like, heck yeah, get rights to it.
And of course, Gene Simmons would sign off for it because, as we said in a previous podcast, Gene Simmons knows how to turn a buck, and he's the first one to tell you that.
Yeah. Make that money.
Oh, gosh.
He did a Comic-Con that I was at. He had a big line.
Oh, I'm sure of it. Yeah. I mean, he knows how to do it, man. And everybody's interested. And I'm telling you, whenever he sadly passes away, he is going to be leaving behind a massive underlined fortune.
I'll take it.
I'll settle on an autographed record, to be honest.
Do it, Chris Kelly. Write him a letter.
Actually, I did shoot him an email. Didn't respond. I wasn't surprised. I assumed he probably wouldn't.
Nice.
But yeah, I got my recommendations now all ready to go.
Oh, man. All right. Chris Kelly, recommendations.
As I've said before, these recommendations, they are more of like a nice complimentary to this movie. So if you think of Role Models as being your main course, my recommendations would be more of like a side of mashed potatoes with gravy or a nice side salad to complement it.
Or bagel dog.
A bagel dog, if you will. It'll be the mustard on the bagel dog. It'll be the beans in your coffee. So my first recommendation Oh, wait, you know what? Before I do my recommendations, I do want to say that if you are interested in watching role models, please go out to Videodrome here in Atlanta. Go talk to my buddies over there. It's $5. They have the unrated version of it on DVD. They're more than happy to set it aside for you. And you can have it for a little while to check it out. Check out all the bonus features for this movie.
It's worth buying for sure. There's a lot on this, or renting. Either way, it's definitely worth it.
Yes, yes. My first recommendation is the movie that put Danny McBride on the map. And that is, of course,
The Foot Fist Way.
Fist Way. Yes.
Sorry.
Available on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen this movie, which from talking to folks, I found that a lot of people have never even heard of this movie, which I find shocking. It's such just a fun movie. It's written and co-directed by Jody Hill, who is of the Eastbound and Down fame, which very much with Danny McBride. It's just hilarious. It is. If you've never seen this movie, just do yourself a favor. Sit down, put on Amazon Prime, check it out. You won't regret it. Danny McBride is a Taekwondo instructor. How can you lose?
Oh, it's so good. And one more if you haven't watched The Art of Self-Defense, that's another really mean karate-esque movie. So if you haven't watched that, check that out. That's a mean one right there. So that and The Foot Fist Way. I haven't
seen that.
Oh my gosh, it's brutal.
I've been told that it is a fantastic film, and I think that's on Hulu, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Another recommendation to go along with this, that's also starring Seann William Scott, the Mr. Woodcock.
Yes, with Billy Bob.
Billy Bob Thornton playing the evil Mr. Woodcock, who is the gym teacher whenever Seann William Scott is in high school and has tormented him for many years. Turns out takes a liking to his mother, and they wind up getting engaged, I think, or married. I can't remember. But yes, I'm sorry, they do get engaged. And it petrifies him, and it is phenomenal. There's so many great scenes in this movie, so many great lines of dialogue. It's directed by Greg Gillespie. This was his first movie. He later went on to do Fright Night, which thank you for your recommendation, Mark Hoffmeyer. I do agree with you. It is a good movie. Also starring Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
So good.
It is. It's actually a really good movie. He later went on to do I, Tonya, which if anyone out there hasn't seen I, Tonya, it's a really good movie. And that was actually shot here in Georgia.
And $1 Million Arm. I worked on that.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. And he's currently working on a movie with about Cruella de Vil, which I'm interested in watching because I think she's one of the greatest animated villains in Disney history.
She's terrifying.
She is. She's a puppy killer. That's their whole thing. And she just kills puppies.
And children go to the movies not expecting a horror movie and they see it. Yeah. That's why she's so scary, because you aren't primed for it and she just murders your soul.
Yeah. Ugh. That's all that I got for my recommendations.
Oh, man. And also the promotion with Seann William Scott and John C. Reilly. It's really funny as well. So they're both two employees trying to get a promotion. And it's just the two of them battling. It's a fun movie.
I haven't seen it. I'm going to have to check that out.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. But no, man, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this movie. So thank you very much for saying to pull this one up next, man.
Oh, no, this was fun. And also, I know we said it before, and you're going to do an intro, whatever. But check out Classic American Movies. It's Chris Kelly's podcast. He and his girlfriend, Miriam, they talk about some really cool, like, you know what I like about this? You guys cover, like, The Way of the Gun. You do movies that most people don't really cover. And I think you guys got a smart, I like the way that you guys cover, just, I don't know. I like the movies you pick. I dig the vibe of it. So yeah, just listen to that. You can pretty much find it anywhere, right?
Yeah. It's available on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Stitcher, Podbean, anywhere you get your pods, it's on there. Trust me. Just look up Classic American Movies. Just to add to what you said, the reason why we cover all different types of movies is that it started off as kind of like a joke with on Instagram, where every Saturday night I would show Miriam a different movie. As we've talked about before, my girlfriend is not from America. She's from Germany, and her knowledge of American cinema is not really as much. She doesn't really know that as many American movies as one would imagine. I would show her these movies and I'd call them classic films. And the very first one that I showed her was Escape from New York. So that instantly was a big hit on Instagram, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, like show her The Thing or show her Demolition Man next," you know. And
Over the
I'd
Top.
show her Over the top. Man, she liked that one a lot. That was a blast because, I mean, I'm telling you, we were watching that movie and she was just like, holy smokes, this movie's so ridiculous. But anyways, we decided to then move it as a podcast, becoming a pretty big hit. So I'm showing her these movies. She's educating herself on the movies, and she really likes doing the various different types of films because she learns more, I learn more, and you know, it's just fun. And we've also moved on to doing other movies as well. As we're starting to show movies that she loves and then I like as well. We just recently did Dirty Dancing, so that was a lot of fun to dig into the history of that. And also to go along with that is my interview series, which is Cult Classics with Chris. You can also, that goes along with classic American movies. So if you do follow classic American movies, you automatically are subscribing to the Cult Classics with Chris, where I interview those involved in making of cult classic films. My very first one was with Anne Carlisle, who was the co-writer and star of Liquid Sky. So those are a lot of fun. You get to learn about all the history of these movies, stuff that you would never hear or read about by just going online. And you can hear directly from the person who did it. So it's pretty neat.
Chris Kelly's crushing it.
Yeah, I'll be able to afford my own cup of coffee.
And beans, brother. All right, hey, well, thank you for joining me, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, so this was fun. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Chris, Coffee and Beans Kelly, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.